back to Mack Reads. I'm Mack Wilson.
And I'm Kobe.
We are here with another one of my friends having a play date.
Yes.
And today, we're besties. And today we're going to be reading you Pompeii Buried Alive by Edith Cunham, illustrated by
Michael Eagle,
I think.
Oh.
Right there. Anyway, let's begin. Do you want to start?
Yeah.
Okay. Chapter 1, The Sleeping Giant.
Once there was a town named Pompeii. Say Pompeii.
Pompeii.
Near the town there was a mountain named
Vesuvius.
Vesuvius. Say Vesuvius.
Vesuvius.
I think they know it now. The mountain, it's good. It was
the people.
The people in Pompeii liked living by the mountain.
Don't say too loud.
Mountain. It was a good place to grow grapes. Yum. It looks like a good place to raise and sleep. And it looked
raise sheep.
Raise sheep. And it looked peaceful.
It looked so peaceful. But the mountain was a really dangerous volcano. It was like a sleeping giant. If the giant woke up, it could destroy the town. Did the people know about the danger? No, they did not. And surprisingly, this is actually a true story.
I actually remember seeing this online.
Yeah, this is a true story of history. My second favorite history story. First favorite history story is the Titanic.
A volcano is a special kind of mountain, and it has a hole at the top. One day, almost 2,000 years ago, something was happening under Vesuvius. The way down deep, it was very, very hot. It was so hot that rock was melting. As the rock melted, a gas was made. The gas was trying to escape, and the gas and the melted rock were mixed together. The mixture was hot, bubbly. The gas was pushing the melted rock up through Vesuvius. The melted rock was about to blast.
Right at the
hole at the top.
That's what it looks like when the volcano is about to erupt. The day started out the way it always did. The sun rose, people began coming to Pompeii with things to sell. Fishermen were bringing fish, peddlers were bringing melons and straw hats.
Farmers were bringing vegetables, shepherds were bringing sheep. Carts rumbled through the narrow gates and into town.
Just basically like an ordinary olden day town. And this story happened in, I think, 79 BC, so before Jesus. The noisy carts in the streets woke up the people in the houses. The family who lived in one of the biggest houses was soon busy. The mother went to pray in the courtyard. She put flowers by the statue of a god. The father began to dress. His slave helped him. The children were playing. They were glad it was summer. The slaves were in the kitchen making breakfast. No one in the house knew that something terrible was going to happen. After breakfast, the children went outside. The streets were crowded. People were at work inside the shops. Bakers were busy baking flatbread. Weavers were busy weaving wool cloth. Potters were busy making clay pots.
Oh, the slaves were getting water at the fountain. A musician was playing his flute. No one else in the street knew that something terrible was going to happen. I always end up with something terrible is going to happen.
Yeah, because that's what happens in this part of the story. I've read the story before.
If you have it, your book.
By late morning, many men were at the bathhouse. They were having a good time. Some men were playing ball. Some men were lifting weights. Some men were talking in the steam room. Others were soaking in the hot pools. The
father from the big house was there. His slave was rubbing oil on his back. No one at the bathhouse knew that something terrible was going to happen.
By noon, the town meeting place was full of people. Some people were looking for things to buy. Some people were talking to their friends. Lawmakers were meeting to make new laws. Visitors were looking at the beautiful buildings.
The mother from the big house was there. She was praying in the temple. No one in the town meeting place knew that something terrible was going to happen. And you can just see the mountain in the background.
Yeah, right there. Chapter 2. The giant wakes up. Suddenly, the ground began to tremble. All of the houses in Pompeii began to shake. The giant was waking up.
Then there was an enormous cracking sound from the top of
Vesuvius.
Blew off a huge cloud of dust, and ash came pouring out.
Here comes the danger.
Yeah, right, halfway through the book right now, if you're wondering.
Yeah, that much. Everyone began to scream. People came out of their houses to look at the huge cloud. Shopkeepers came out of their shops. Bakers forgot about their bread. Farmers forgot about their fruits and vegetables. And the lawmakers forgot about the new laws. The cloud was getting bigger and bigger.
Natural disaster.
Natural disasters. Exactly.
The cloud hid the sun. It was dark. Tiny hot pebbles began to fall on the people in Pompeii. Some people found pillows to cover their heads. Others hid inside of their houses. Everyone was running and pushing and shoving and shouting. Some people ran towards the town gate to get away from others and to protect themselves. Jewelry, gold coins, and a few went to the temple to pray. The clouds, could the gods save them?
Could the gods save them?
Could.
Oh.
I think that city is actually underwater now.
No, it's not.
I don't know.
The day became as dark as night. A horrible smell filled the air. It was like rotten eggs. People rushed towards the sea. A few held torches to light the way.
The sea was wild. Huge waves kept crashing down into the beach. Fish left flopping in the sand. The family from Big House was able to get into a boat. They were able to get away.
So right now, Pompeii is not underwater. It's actually an attraction because this happened in Italy, Naples. And
Oh yeah.
So it's basically like a normal town now, but they left a part of the ruins where everyone can see like what it was, like what the remains looked like in real life. When the pebbles fell on Pompeii, many people could not escape. They were trapped under the pebbles. Then hot ashes began pouring out of the volcano. The ashes fell on the people. The ashes were hot enough to make their hair sizzle.
The people in the street tried to protect themselves. They hid in corners and behind the walls. They covered their faces with their hands and clothes. But the ashes piled up higher, and people could not move. People could not breathe. They were trapped under ashes.
They were trapped under the ashes. I do not like being in small spaces, so I would not like to be them. The ashes kept falling. Heaps of ashes filled the streets. The ashes spilled into the houses. They piled up to the first story windows. They piled up to the second story windows.
The people inside the houses were trapped too.
Oh no.
But they wish they had aircons back then.
Yeah, there goes about $5 million. Or even more. But Vesuvius was not done. Now a great cloud of poisonous gas rushed out of the mountain. The cloud covered Pompeii.
A great river of hot ashes and gases raced down to the side of the mountain. The river flowed right over the walls of the town. No one in Pompeii was saved.
Oh no, here comes the lava.
Didn't know lava had water in it.
Yeah, it's got a little bit. Across the bay, a boy stood watching. His name was Pliny. Say Pliny.
Pliny.
Pliny saw the strange cloud that came out of Vesuvius. He saw the darkness over Pompeii. Later, he heard about the hot ashes and pebbles and the wild sea. Did Pliny ever forget that day? No, he did not.
I wouldn't forget that day.
I wouldn't. It would probably be like one of my most scared days I would have had in my life.
One of them, it would be.
Yeah.
Unless you've been to an airplane crash.
Like seeing a giant volcano erupting only about a mile away.
Whoa.
Chapter 3, Buried Alive. The ashes fell on Pompeii for 2 days. 2 days. Then it was over. The huge cloud was gone. The mountain was quiet. The ashes cooled and became hard. Only the tops of the building showed above them. The whole town had been buried alive.
Some of the people who had left in the boats came back. They came to look for their houses and came to look for their belongings. They came to look for their friends, but everyone was sailed under the ashes.
But everything was sealed under the ashes. Oh man, I would feel horrible if my house was in there.
Especially with that bed you have. Not fancy.
Pliny grew up. He became a writer. He wrote about the huge cloud that came out of Vesuvius. He wrote about the volcano that buried Pompeii.
Many years went by. Vesuvius erupted again and again. More ashes fell on the town. At last, there were no signs that anyone had ever lived there. By and by, people forgot about the town named Pompeii. Pompeii spelled like Pompeii.
I know, Pompeii.
Pompeii.
And it's got like 2 eyes at the end. Right, so this, we've got this much to read.
Not long.
Not long. Hundreds of years later, the ashes on top changed into soil. Grass began to grow. People built houses right above the buried town. They built a new town on top of Pompeii. They did not even know that the old town was there.
Then people began to read Pliny's letters, and they read about the buried town named Pompeii. Where is Pompeii? Nobody knew.
Well, we know now. In Italy, Naples.
Those guys from Italy?
Everyone in the story is Italian.
I can tell because that guy has a big mustache.
One day, some workers were digging a tunnel for water. They found pieces of an old wall under the ground. But they did not know that wall was a part of a town.
Many years later, more people came to dig. In the same place, they found more buildings. Was there a town under the ground? It was the town Pliny wrote about. Then one of the diggers found a stone, and it had a name carved in it. Name was Pompeii.
They have found Pompeii.
Yeah.
Underneath the town. Weird.
Pompeii's so big.
And
It's so small.
There's the mountain in the background. People were very excited. The lost town of Pompeii was right there, under their feet. If they could uncover it, they could see how people lived long ago. Scientists began digging. They worked slowly and carefully. They used many tools they brushed away. The ashes, they did not want to destroy anything.
The scientists found beautiful gold bracelets, and they found unbroken eggs. They found pitchers made of colored stones. These pitchers were called mosaics. Mosaics.
Mosaics.
And they found people who had died.
I'm surprised those eggs didn't break. Very
I'm going everywhere.
I know. At first, the scientists found only a few skeletons. Then they saw strange holes in the hard ashes. They poured plaster into the holes. When the plaster dried, the plaster casts were shaped just like people.
The plaster cast showed how people looked when they died. There was even plaster of cast of dogs on a chain.
The dog on a chain. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, I know. Very sad.
Dogs on chains with small brains.
Poor dogs. They didn't have a chance to run away. Today, the old town of Pompeii is like a great big museum without a roof. Pompeii is in Italy. People come from many lands to visit. They want to see the shops and houses of long ago. And they want to see Vesuvius too. It is the most famous volcano in the world.
Scientists watch the volcano very carefully. How much gases are coming out of the ground? How hot are the rocks near the volcano? How much does the earth shake?
Look, a farmer is taking care of his grapevines. They grow on the side of the mountain named Vesuvius. Nearby, a lizard is resting on a warm rock. It is a peaceful day in Pompeii. The giant is sleeping. When will the giant wake up again? Nobody knows. Oh yeah,
Really?
Yeah, somewhere in here.
Oh.
And that is the end of the story. I hope you enjoyed. I did. After this video, or in the end of this video, there will be a photo of where Pompeii is. Thank you for watching. Bye.
Bye.